Hey, everyone. How are you today? I hope everybody's having an awesome start to the year. Goodness gracious, I cannot believe it is 2025. I tell you, 2024 went so fast, if you ask me. So it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, whew, it's time for self-reflection. It's time for us to kind of just go through things, to kind of comb through things and see what we did in 2024. How do we make a better us in 2025? And so, considering the fact that obviously I focus on firearm safety, I want to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do as far as those things are concerned. So, when it comes to firearm safety, I want to make sure that people are, keeping up with the most up-to-date tactics and techniques. So we're going to do this all together in 2025, each step of the way. And as this is a community discussion, I want you guys to tell me how you feel about it as well. So if you guys have any things to add as far as, hey, Mrs. Trouble, I want to talk about this year. Hey, Mrs. Trouble, I want to talk about that this year. This is the platform to let me know so that I know what things you guys are looking for and I get the information to you. So when it comes to this, just keep in mind that everything that everybody says, we're not going to agree with. And that's okay because we all have our own different point of views and things to consider. So when it comes to that, be respectful because know that we're not going to always agree with everyone, right? So let me see. I'm just trying to bring up my notes here to keep me on task because I could get off a little bit. um, all right. So first, for anyone who may be just joining us, I am Mrs. Trouble, and I do a lot of women empowerment and firearm safety. I want to make sure that our community is equipped, especially women, because women tend to go through a little uniqueness. Lots of times, as women, we'll find ourselves in situations like, depending on our dad or our uncle or our brother to protect us and defend us. When realistically, they can't always be there every step of the way, every single day. So we have to know and have some tools to defend ourselves for ourselves because we are our first line of defense. So as you guys are joining, please let me know where you're joining from, whether that's DC, Maryland, Virginia, so the DMV area, whether that is, I don't know, Texas or somewhere in Africa, somewhere in Australia. Please check in and let me know where you're visiting from. And also, keep in mind that this is an open discussion. So as people join, they're going to say things. We don't always have to agree. But as long as we're being respectful to one another, I welcome all people to communicate with me because I want this to be a community discussion. The goal here is to make sure that everyone is welcome, that we have a safe place to voice things to one another as far as guns are concerned, as far as safety is concerned. And hey, Carson. Hey, Joker67. Thanks for joining. I don't know if you are new or you have joined before, but if you are new, please subscribe so you can stay tuned to more conversations and be a part of this conversation because you're a part of our community too. I just want to make sure that we have a place where we can talk about things that's going to keep us all safe because I'm a believer that everything starts within the home, all this mass shooting that we see or the situation that happened in New Orleans just a few days ago, all these things start in our home. So if we can start speaking with each other, one another, about the things that is a concern and educate one another, that's where it all starts. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Carson. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you checking us out. I hope that you like the content and that you stay tuned for more information. So, going into 2025, as I said, reflecting. So, I'm thinking about the things that I did in 2025 with my firearms. Did I clean them enough? Probably not. I probably should clean my guns a little bit more than usual. So that's something I know I can work in a little bit more. Uh, all right, and so I see Mad Woman 23 said, do you think parents to blame? Good question. Good question. And I do think parents do have a big responsibility and probably is the primary thing to blame. My experience in previous fields in childcare. I learned from early childcare development that we pretty much are set in stone who we are at 5. Okay, give or take, life experiences kind of makes us a little bit different here or there, but our core person by 5. So what that means is what we're training our kid to do, especially up till 5, it's important what we instill them with as far as what knowledge, what are some moral and ethical decisions to make. And it's important for us as parents, or even if you're not a parent, if you have a god kid or a niece, a nephew, a little cousin, be a good role model for them. Help them make some, better decisions that's going to help them in the future versus it's going to end them in jail or end them unalive, those type of things. So yeah, parents do have a big responsibility and probably primarily the blame for a lot of decisions that are made later on in life. So, what happened in New Orleans? I'm glad you asked. So, if you don't know what happened in New Orleans for New Year's celebration, people were out and about, like they normally do, partying, and here was this guy with a pickup truck and rammed into people. And the last time I checked, I believe it was 16 people unalive, including 2 police officers that were gunned down by him. And the police ultimately unalived him, you know. And it's really sad and unfortunate. The only information I can tell you is that they believe him to be an active terrorist. They did find 2 IEDs as well. Um, Obviously, they were not deployed, so thank goodness for no explosions there. And they did already identify the man being a 42-year-old Army veteran, and have had some history of mental health concerns. So that's what happened in New Orleans for anybody who did not know. And this is why things like this, our conversations on Fridays, is extremely important to me because I feel like I'm doing my part to help our community make some better choices, regardless if it's with firearms or just general safety, general good decision making. Because I teach all of my students. I mean, every last one of my students will tell you I'm always stressing about how your firearm is your last resort. So just considering those things, what happened in New Orleans and many other places, whether it was with the gun or with the car, it doesn't matter. The point is, these people were innocent people, and this should not have happened. So let's see. Mad Woman 23 said, I'm a single woman. My son is 17, and I can't say I control him fully. Well, that's good. He's a young man. He's coming into his own manhood. I personally don't have motherly advice for that per se, because mine's is daughters. I can say that my experience is different. However, my little brother and I are like this, and he technically is me and my husband's first baby, if you ask me. So we're many years apart, and we had a lot to do helping my mom in raising him. And so with that experience, I think I'm a little bit more keen because of that. Uh, and I can tell you at 17, as a young man, you're feeling yourself. You're a man at 17, really, in his mind at least. And so there are some boundaries you're going to have to set with him, but you're also going to have to always make sure that he knows that you're not his friend, but you are his mom, and that, the respect should never be compromised. Regardless of what happens, the respect should never be compromised. And he should always have that respect for you. You should always show respect to him in turn as well. And then just, it's probably more so the whole how you guys speak to each other, how you guys interact with each other. That's my best advice for that. And no, I would not say you should have control over him. At 17, he should be making some good decisions on his own. And you should not have to control him because you should be instilling in him some good decision making. So hopefully you having firearms in your home, that you would at least take part in educating him about firearm safety awareness, not necessarily about shooting guns. I would, that's kind of on you whether or not he's mature enough, or you feel that he is mature enough to do that. But definitely, if you do feel like you want to have him do training or learn how to use a firearm, I would totally do it under the direction of a licensed firearm instructor. So if you're in the DMV area, you can send me an email, and me and you can talk a little bit more about that. And I'll be happy to help you guys with whether you want to just get him some knowledge, or whether you want to go ahead and start helping him understand how to be safe with firearm use. So let's see. Somebody, Carson asks, did they shoot him? Yes, Carson. The police did shoot the person, the 42-year-old guy who rammed into all the people, and he also shot 2 police officers. So yes, the police did take him out on the scene. Let's see. Mike, hey Mike, thanks for joining, Mike Hector. It's your job to control your kids, and you're definitely right about that. I mean, at 17, I mean, I'm here to tell you, at 17, there's only but so much more control you should be doing. It should be more of them learning how to make some decisions. So there's a certain level of responsibility you should be giving them to do at 17, is what I'm trying to say. And I know some parents may not agree with that tactic, but that is my tactic. And I think it allows them to make some decisions for themselves, because they're at that really tricky age of, graduating from high school, going into the adult world. At 18, the world says they're grown, right? And then, we have some things that they can't do until they're 21. But if you're still treating them like a kid, but the world says they're grown next year or in a few months, that little switch doesn't just happen like that. It doesn't happen overnight. So we do have to give them some leeway of making their own decisions, and showing them respect so that they know how to respect others as well. So let's see. Somebody else said, was he drunk? I don't know. That's a good question, Carson. I have no idea if the person in New Orleans was drunk. Let's see. Somebody said no, he was crazy. Okay, I guess I would have to second that he might have been just a little cray cray, a lot cray cray, because that was really a horrible thing that happened. Let's see. So God forbid if he has a gun, what can I do? Why charge me as a parent? That's a good conversation to have there. So maybe that is something that I can have a lawyer to come back on with me to actually have a conversation about. The fact that parents are responsible at the age 17. When he's grown, then you're no longer responsible. But right now, you're still responsible. And I hear your point about that. I do. And that's why even in some states at 16, you can be, what is it, emancipated, or even 14 in some places. You can get married, you can get, things like that with certain sign-offs. So different maturity levels for different people. And that's something that we have to consider. Not all people are the same, regardless if it's male or female. And unfortunately, yeah, the state will be looking at us for anything that happens to our 17-year-old. Let's see. Yeah, you should always respect your parents, and that's facts. This is the year of gun armed. Ooh, I hear you on that, Big Daddy 444. Thank you so much for joining again. Uh, I am literally in the market of looking for new guns to purchase. I want to broaden my horizon of trying different brands. I have certain brands that I really love and I kind of tend to stick to, but I like to try some other ones. So when I have clients that I'm training and they have different ones, I'm like, hey, let me shoot that for a little minute. And I go to the range and I rent different ones to kind of see. So I'll know what guns it is I want to kind of add to my collection. And then also when it comes to, at the range, you can go and rent at the range. A lot of times you can go rent and see what they have. That's things that I would totally do. And I'm going to do that more in 2025. All right, so Big Dad 444 said, do you think Trump would change gun laws for the better? What I'm going to say about that is, I don't think he's going to probably do much changing. I feel like probably got some other things on his mind, but the fact that the NRA is a supporter of him and things like that, so who knows who's going to go with that. But I don't feel that it's going to be a negative effect on the gun community. I don't believe that. When you have things like, what just happened in New Orleans, they always are looking for the guns and things to try to talk about. I can't wait for this story to develop all the way so that way I can get more facts about it. So I always give it a little time, like another week or two, and then we'll understand more about what actually happened. But when I was listening or reading about the people who were witnesses none of them actually mentioned a gun. They all talked about him ramming with a car. So that's a good thing that I don't think a gun was used primarily for his attack. Um, so that's a good thing for the community of firearm owners, is what I'm saying, as far as that goes, because they do tend to have, mass shootings happen, and that is very much used for our political voices, and that's where I'm pretty much going with that discussion. But when it comes to this whole thing, it's horrible all the way around. Horrible all the way around. James, good point. Ban cars. I mean, statistically, if you want to be real, in America, in the United States rather, cars kill more people than guns anyway. And you don't see them trying to ban cars. They just put seatbelts in. They just enforce different driving rules, but they don't tend to want to ban cars. So there you have it. So that's actual facts. You guys can look that up. It's definitely facts. I've done some research on that. So my mission is really to make sure that our community is here together, supporting one another this year. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the information it is that you are looking for. So if you guys have any topics that you'd like me to discuss, just go ahead and put it in the chat box area, and I'll do my best to come up with some content that's going to help you guys get that information that you're looking for. So I want to, and even if you think about it later, you want to come back to this video and put it in the comment section, I'll be looking out for it too. So I'll do my best to make sure you guys have the information you need. So we do a lot of different conversations with different women helping others in the community. So that's what the interviews are based on. Those interviews that I'm doing with those women are all really based on that. However, I do expose them to firearm use, and some of them, believe it or not, before the interview may not have even touched the firearm. So it really is a really interesting experience and fun for them to have that experience and know, what that type of power feels like in their hands. And so it kind of definitely gives them a certain level of confidence and joy. And it's one of those things I'm going to continue to do, because I know that women have a unique experience in life. And when I say that, it's not to diminish any men out there, because you guys have your own challenges. But I can't speak from your point of view in life because I'm not a man. But as a woman, I can tell you that we tend to put ourselves on the back burner a lot, on the back burner for everyone that we love. Our kids, our husband, our parents, whoever it is that's in our life that we're, just riding hard for, like just making sure we're there for every day, all day. We tend to put ourselves on the back burner. And so what that means a lot of times for us is our dreams, our ambitions sometimes die. They sometimes fade away because we don't feel like we can do it, or we feel like too much time has passed and now it's just too late for us to pursue whatever that dream might be. And so I want to inspire to let you guys know that it's not too late. If you have a dream, you have a skill, you have something that you want to do, try it, go for it, And that's really what this is all about, as well as I want to empower you with firearms, because, hey, we are our first line of defense. I mean, why not take the chance on knowing? Because another common situation that I see very much with a lot of my students is the husband or spouse tends to have firearms, but here it is, the wife doesn't have firearms and maybe have never experienced them with firearms. And so they're in a household full of firearms and don't know how to use none of it. And again, as I said at the very beginning, sometimes our husband might not be there just for that moment, to be the person to protect us. Sometimes we may have to be the one to have grabbed that firearm and defend ourselves if we have a home intruder when our husband might be absent at the moment. Who knows? They might have ran to the store or be out of town for business, and we got to take care of business on our own for that moment until he gets back there. So it's one of those things where I just want every woman to know how to, even if it's not your go-to thing, even if it's something you don't tend to ever want to use, but you should know how to, is my biggest concern there. So Drew, thanks for joining. I appreciate you checking in here. Yeah, you want to get a new gun this year. So my top three, home defense or self-defense? Let me ask that. And is it pistol, rifle, shotgun that you're looking for? That's what I want to know. Because right now, I haven't really made any picks for shotguns or rifles, so I probably won't be the best advice for that. But for pistols, okay. For pistols, I can say for home defense, um, I'm still loving my P320. SIG P320 all day, every day. Okay. And then when it comes to the Springfield Echelon, it's also really great. That's a really good, home defense or full size firearm. When it comes to the compact world, talking about concealed carrying. Back to my SIG again with my P365 XL or P365 macro, just depending on the size of your hand, like how it fits in your hand is what I would base that on. Um, and then also, I'm trying to think for conceal, would be another really good one. Everybody in the world is going to tell you a 43X, a Glock 43X. For me, it's not my choice. I'm not a Glock person so much, but when it comes to reliability, it's definitely reliable. And then the price range for all of these guns, except for that Echelon, I think that's kind of up there. But for most all of them is somewhere around that $600 price range. All of them range in that price range for the most part. So I'm really looking for any of those guns. Those are my go-tos. I love those. They all feel really comfortable and I rely on them a lot. Okay, so women tend to have a challenge in the community. I've noticed over the last year, I have been interviewing women and helping different women talk about the things that they do in the community, such as like social work, realtor. So there's other videos I've done speaking to these type of professions, and they've expressed to me some unique experiences. Safety being a big concern. They're going into communities that may not be the safest environments, and a lot of times they're going unprotected, meaning they don't have a firearm or some other form of self-defense with them. And so with that, I felt like, okay, that's a really unique thing though, that women go to their work and they feel unsafe. It's really horrible because we got to go to work. We got to make our money to protect, provide for our family and help for our family and things like that. So you shouldn't have to go somewhere and feel unsafe. So that's also something I really want to push, that people do find the ways of self-defense. And the answer is not always a firearm. And that's okay. There's other less than lethal options you can use, or you can get some hand-to-hand combat experience, or just simply being mindful of your environment, making sure that you take it all in, you know where you are, you don't have any distractions, put that phone down as much as you can so that you can focus on where you are and what your surroundings are looking like. That's something that I want all women to know. Going to work, to and from work is a concern because you got to get in and out of the vehicle, go to and from the bus stop, whatever way you're getting back and forth to work or to school. You might be enrolled in school. Those type of things may be a concern. I know at one point in time, I worked in the evenings and I was catching a bus home because my car was broke down. So I was catching the bus home or whatnot, and I would have to get off of work in the evening. I hated it. I mean, it was this season in winter. I remember that. And it got dark by 6 p.m. And here I am standing outside in some dark area waiting for a bus stop. Oh my gosh, I was so on edge. And working in childcare, I couldn't take my gun with me back and forth, so that was definitely not an option. So I had to find some other less than lethal things to have with me, and just not having my head into my phone, my face into my phone the entire time. Just making sure that I'm kind of looking around and making sure that I'm safe the entire time was something that was on the top of my head the complete time I was doing that. So when it comes to, those situations, sometimes we get into, we're going to have situations in life where we are going to get into, arguments, disagreements, and things like that with people, whether it's a coworker or whatnot. But we have to be mindful of learning how to de-escalate situations, because as firearm owners, which I'm assuming mostly a lot of the viewers here might be firearm owners, people are already going to view us as the bad guy or the bad woman. Okay. So if they know that you are a firearm owner, they'll try to use that against you. So please be mindful that you're going to have to de-escalate situations as much as possible, because that firearm should be the last resort, and you don't want anybody using that really against you as much as possible. So definitely try to avoid that as much as possible by de-escalating. Play nice. Let some of them words just kind of roll off. If it's not that serious, they're not putting their hands on you. Let them talk, 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 and that's okay. Just keep it moving, as much as you can, okay? Because I'm a big stickler for respect. I do believe respect is definitely something that goes both ways, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't tolerate no disrespect. But there are certain ways and different situations I have to learn that, okay, I can't go all the way at a 10 in this situation. I gotta bring it down to like a five, a sweet little five spot, and just kind of respectfully say my point of view. So, and everything doesn't have to be a fight. And that's one of those things that I had to learn as an adult. So hopefully you guys can take that and do something with it positive. When it comes to the effects of preventing these situations, it just, you guys don't understand how much your children look up to you, how much the young ones around you are watching your every move. A lot of times we think that our kids don't hear things or they don't see things, but every now and then they give us little nuggets and show us that they know what we're doing, they know what we're saying. And so it's important for us to be a good role model for them. Not that we're perfect, no one is perfect, we're always going to make mistakes, everybody does, and they should know that as well. um, but just like, certain little decisions that we make around them, how we choose to carry ourselves, like what we wear, um, how we choose to talk, how we choose to express ourselves, all these things go a long way for helping them make good healthy decisions, and overall helping us have a better community for our future. Because realistically, if they're growing up with a whole bunch of like cursing every couple of words and yelling and screaming and lying and cheating and things like that. They're seeing all this growing up. What do you think they're going to do as they get older? And this is what we need to prevent, because going forward in 2025, we need to lessen the amount of mass shootings. We need to lessen these school scares. I know last year, even my kids had, and I think all kids had scared, they were a fear of going to school because of the school shootings that happened. And it's really sad and unfortunate, because our kids shouldn't go to school feeling fearful. And that's one of the things that we can do to help prevent that. Pay attention to your kids. Know your kid. Don't be afraid to, go through their room if you need to. If you feel like there's something that you are concerned about, or you think that they're lying to you, or you feel like they're building bombs in your backyard, you need to fully go and investigate that. And I know none of us as parents want to believe that our kids are doing anything or that anything is wrong with our kid, but we have to be real with ourselves and go ahead and look past that for a second and just focus on what the issue is. This is a problem, we need a solution. Just keep thinking this is a problem and we need a solution. So let's see. Edge Hill said, this is why online classes are growing. Valid point. Valid point. I'm still on the side of not sending my kids to some online classes. I want them to have the in-person experience, because another thought process I have is, I explained to you guys before, my form of parenting is allowing them to have some responsibility and decision making for themselves in some aspect. Okay. And it's all an effort that when they turn 18, that it's not a shock, that it's not like, okay, I was a baby here and now I'm an adult. So they have to gradually be able to make some decisions for themselves. And a part of that is knowing how to deal with other people. And knowing how to deal with other people is hard to do online. You have to be kind of face to face. Okay. So, and that's for me, I can't replace that with online schooling. And I know that's a big decision because we're talking about the safety of our children. We want them to be alive. And so that's definitely something that me and my husband have definitely experienced talking about and things. But as of right now, I'm still sending my kids to school because I want them to have those interactions with people that are outside of our home, outside of our family, outside of our culture, and knowing how to deal with various different peoples in different situations. And that is facts. Mad Woman 23 said they can't make decisions if someone is shooting. That is a fact. And that's one of those things we have to understand. It's that's one of those things we have to make a decision in our own homes about. So I don't pass any judgment off to anyone who has any different opinions than me on how to raise your children or what decisions you make about your children, because everybody's going to do what's in best interest for their household. And that's why I'm here. We got to do something that's going to be a positive impact, though, not things that are a negative impact. And that's where my goal is. And so it definitely is still a positive impact to send your kid to homeschool because of safety reasons. It's protecting them. It's showing them that you care and that you want to see them live. And I'm sure you're taking the time to instill in them different knowledge that they might not be getting being away from their peers, or at least not being person to person with their peers. So just know that if you are homeschooling your kid, it's going to take you a little extra work because I put it this way. I had an experience where I worked with someone who had never gone, well, since elementary school, did not go to regular school. Their parents did homeschooling. And it was so many different little things as far as interacting with people that she missed because she didn't have that experience of going to school with peers. And it was kind of like sometimes, even she confided in me that sometimes it's like she felt like she was like a teenager in an adult world because there's certain things that she just didn't understand, certain social cues that she would not pick up on. And so that's a concern of mine. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, homeschool might not be an option for my kids because I'm thinking about that type of thing. And then they said, well, I'm ghetto broke. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. When it comes to the whole broke world, it's real out there. Things are expensive. And a lot of times our decision making is very well based on our pockets. I mean, honestly, just something so simple about what we gonna eat today. In my household, that's a whole conversation. And then it boils down to what we can afford. And it's like, okay, well, today is not a lobster day. No, it's not a crab meat day today. Today is a McDonald's day. So it's one of those things. I mean, shoot, even McDonald's not cheap no more. It's for my family anyway. So it's one of those things. You guys have to decide what is best for you and yours. And you're right that they do need to be around family and develop. You're right about that. I know I had a conversation with my mom before about making sure that my kids were around my extended family, not just in our household. They need to be around our extended family because they need to see how other people operate, and people who live in the area, people who don't live in the area. Just they need to be around other people. And so that was definitely one of the things that really helped because, yeah, you're right. Going to go visit your cousins who might live, around the way, down the street, a whole different environment. It could definitely give them some broadened horizon information. And so, yeah, I mean, I noticed that even my kids, like, they speak differently than some of our family members do. So it's like those little things I know they're going to get teased about, but that's all right. It's all right. It comes with the territory because you want the best for your kids. Everybody wants the best for their kids. So what you expose your kid to, you're doing the best you can, and I'm sure you're doing a great job at it because you're here speaking to me, getting great knowledge, and you're instilling that knowledge into me and helping me be a better parent to my kids. So I appreciate your feedback and your views on that. Now, when it comes to this channel, I mean, we got so much coming up in 2025. I have so much things that's already on the books. So we have some more inspiring interviews with some magnificent women out there, like doing game changing stuff. And I'm like, man, how did you find the time to do this? And like what you did was so cool. Like I am so excited to get you guys those stories and so you guys can see the things that they're doing. I know the next video we have coming up soon for an interview is a woman who's getting out there in the shooting competition arena, and she's out there doing her thing. She done won a medal already. So I'm really proud of her, and I cannot wait to share that interview with you guys because it was so fun watching her hit the ping targets. She did Texas Star, and it was just really cool seeing her actually enjoy and have fun, and went through some drills. I cannot wait to show you guys that interview because it was really cool and fun. And she's also a mom. She's also a wife. And I thought that was really inspiring because, you know, people who are competitive, it's hard for them to have families, especially mom being a parent, you know. And she also has another whole career. So it's like, okay, she's out there living some dreams right there. Okay, I got to get this story out there to you guys so you can see that you can do it too. And it's not too late. So let's see. Somebody said, I hate when people say my kids sound white. I hear you. I hear you about that. And it's so sad. It's really so sad that we act like that in all the communities when we kind of divide things up like that. At the end of the day, people speak based on the environment that they are in. And it's it's so sad but true that people say things like that. And I mean, even me growing up in Southeast DC, and I had people to tell me I sound like that too. And I'm like, I live right here with you guys. I mean, I barely mingled with any other race until after I was like 17, probably. I wasn't raised about anybody around anybody outside of the Black community. So it was a very big culture shock for me to even interact with other races. And even now, it's like I have to remind myself, okay, this is okay. This is a social cue. That's okay. This is normal. You know, I'm not going to freak out because I'm at a grocery store and somebody who's foreign is behind me, like in arm's reach. Okay, they don't understand my social cues. So I'm just gonna let them know, hey, look, you stand a little bit too close. I need you to back up. Give me 50 feet, okay? So things like that is just like, you know, different social cues may or may be misunderstood, I would say. So when it comes to those type of things, that is sad and unfortunate. I'm sorry your kids are going through that, but I hope that they are okay and they can manage and let them know that they speak well. That's good. That is really good. They need to be able to articulate themselves because regardless of what they go through in life, they're going to have to communicate with people. So the good thing is everybody can understand them instead of just a certain group of people. That's a plus. Because when you get some people, oh gosh, I know I went and visited family down north, down south, and I couldn't understand what some of them were saying at first. I was like, what did you just say? Can you repeat that? Like say this again because I didn't hear. Um, and so it's one of those things where articulation is extremely important. And if they can communicate well, then they're going to do well in whatever field they're in because we need communication no matter what we're doing. When it comes to what we have coming up, though, and some more of our talks. So next week, I plan to talk to you guys about the metaverse a little bit. So we'll talk a little bit more about how the metaverse can help some of our women, some of our viewers, some of our men. If you guys have any aspirations to build a business and things like that, and maybe doing it from the comfort of your home might just be the option. The metaverse is an option. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week in our next live. So definitely stay tuned to that. So what I want you guys to do, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so we can make sure you guys have the knowledge, the tools you need. I hope that I'm providing you what it is you're looking for or you need. If you guys have anything in the comment section to tell me about what information you want to know about the gun community, please put that in the chat box area because I want to make sure I'm getting that knowledge out to you guys. So go ahead and take some time to get your thoughts together if you would like. You can come back to the video and put in the comment section, hey, Ms. Trouble, I want to talk about XYZ. I want to do Why don't you do a gun review on this particular gun? You just name it, and I'll make it happen. And so it's one of those things where I'm just like, I want to make sure that I'm really helping you guys get the tools that you need to be safe in your own home. If you want tips on how to talk to your kids about firearm safety, we can talk about that as well. Somebody said, "What does white sound like?" That is a funny, true statement. I hear you on that. Okay, recommended guns for women. Okay, that's definitely a good conversation. It's one of those things for women. They like to put us in a box. I hear a lot of times that, oh, we need to, one, cut our nails, and that two, we need to get a revolver because, oh, we may not be, what's the right word I want to look for? We may not know how to care for a semi-automatic and may not be available to do that type of thing. And I'm just like, stop putting me in a box. I so can handle a semi-automatic. I can take it apart and clean it just like you can. And no, I don't need to cut my nails if I decide to have long nails. I know how to wipe my own tail with my long nails. I'm pretty sure I can handle having a gun with long nails. So there is a way. Okay? So don't let anybody put you in a box. If you want a specific gun and you want to know how to use it, practice with it and you'll get there. No worries about that. All right, and gun reviews. Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't mind doing some gun reviews as well. There's a lot of cool guns on the market. I definitely plan on checking out a whole lot more this year than what I did last year. Last year I kind of stayed in my little box, but this year I think I'm going to venture out and try some new ones. So do you guys have any guns on your mind already that you're interested in buying or you want to know more about? I'll find out about it. You can put that in the chat box as well. I will let you know. So that's some good conversations. Thank you for that. I will definitely get right on that. At the end of the day, I work for you guys in so many ways because this is why I'm here. I want to make sure you have what you need in your own homes to be able to educate your family and you feel more confident and empowered on an everyday basis. Because at the end of the day, you know, we are our first line of defense. Our kids raised in our homes, and we have to make sure that they grow up to be responsible adults, and it's our job to do it. But we have to be equipped with the knowledge. We have to be equipped with the confidence and skills. And so those are things that we all need to know. So the Springfield Hellcat, okay, it's definitely a favorite of mine. I love the Hellcat. It's definitely comfortable, and they do have a couple different models too, so I can talk about that as well. But I do like the Hellcat. It's definitely one that I've compared very much with the Sig Sauer P365. I have both of those, and I love both of those, and they're kind of right there with each other. I shoot pretty much just about the same with them too. So I can definitely give you guys some more tips and understanding about the Springfield Hellcat. No problem. Thank you for that. All right, so that's it for today that I have for you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoy having this conversation with me as I did with you guys. And I really look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And on Wednesdays, about noonish, I'm going to start checking in. I hope you guys are available to come in at your lunch break or whatnot. Maybe just kind of check in with me, only for about 10 minutes. We're just going to see how you're doing. This is the gun tip for today type conversation. And that's what we're going to do until Fridays. We'll have a longer conversation or whatever our conversation is and our topic is. But also stay tuned for some more interviews that's coming out. Like I said, the next one is our competitive shooter. She's getting into that arena and she's going to talk to us about her experience competitive shooting as a woman in the industry. And that is also going to be such a great interview. I think you guys are going to love the gun shooting in that. So definitely stay tuned and happy New Year's to you guys. My last thing I want to leave you guys with is to please, 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 as you are making your yearly goals, remember your why. Definitely know what your why is, because at the end of the day, you can't just say, I'm losing weight and that's it. You have to understand, like, why am I losing weight? What is my end goal? And then you can't just say, I want to get closer to God. Okay, that's cool, but why do you want to get closer to God? And this is what's going to keep you motivated to actually obtain that goal. So keep that in your brain as you live through 2025. And I really hope that I left you with something that you can use and take with you. So happy new year and see you guys next week.